Hello, hello, hello. That's right. We're live. We're going to be drawing very shortly. Welcome. I'll be right with you. Get ready for a very spectacular Monday morning drawing with Chris Craft and Alley Cat. Woo! Whoa. Got a little problem with the thing here. Need to fix that. All right, everybody, listen, I'm just sharpening up a couple of my pencils here, getting ready to draw. I suggest you do the same. We will be starting, maybe 90 seconds, so get ready. Hey, guys, okay, it's 10:04. What do you say we get cracking? I think it's a great idea. So, real quick, I'm just going to run down the list. Let's everybody have a black marker, colored pencils, and a sharpener, or you can use crayons, paper, hard flat surface, smiles. Very important. Probably the most important material we're going to need. Today we're going to be doing, oh man, just a super cool, gigantic American beast called the Bison or the American Buffalo. So, real quick, I'm going to do this very handsome buffalo with you guys today. We're going to do the outline. We're going to get into some obviously very exciting colors. You guys, this is another drawing where you have the opportunity to kind of do any color buffalo you want. I've sort of got this red-orange buffalo thing going on here. So while we're drawing with our markers, maybe start thinking about what color your buffalo is going to be. I'm going to let you guys drink this in for about 30 to 60 seconds, and I will be back. Okay, hi again, everybody. Let's get started drawing our buffalo. Alrighty, away we go. I'm going to get myself a nice fresh sheet of paper. I'm going to reach over here and grab my black marker, because that's what I'll be starting with today. Just like I do pretty much every time. Actually, every time. Okay. So to begin, just like always, I want to find the middle of my paper. Whoop. Whoop. That's about right there. And just like we always do, we're going to be starting with the nose and working outwards. I find that is a smarter, more controlled approach to laying out, especially a symmetrical drawing. Something where the same thing is on the left, that's on the right. So again, I've found the middle of my page here, and right below that is where I'm going to make my first mark for my buffalo's nose. And that mark is going to look something like, an upside down wide U, kind of like a cow's nose, if you can imagine that. We're going to do this in one stroke. It's going to come up, over, dip down a little in the middle, and then come back down. It goes a little something like this. There you go. I kind of missed the dip in there. You can add a little bit of dip in there. I'm not too worried about it. And while I'm here, I'm going to draw in a couple of the nostrils. And these are kind of like little swirls or little spirals that hitch up at the top. Watch me and then try it yourself. A little bit of a spiral, and it just goes up like that. And we'll do the same thing on the other side here. No big deal. Before I get too far away from the nose, I'm just going to draw in the bottom of the mouth. And this is sort of like one of those flying bird shapes. This could be upside down. And let's stretch it out, keep it soft, no hard points. I'm gonna come down, up, down, up. And before I finish with the nose and the mouth, I'm just going to put a little bit of a chin in here. It's pretty much just going to be an arc line upside down. I'll put a little few ripples in there for some fur. Just like that. I'll be adding a lot of color in here. I'm not too worried about that just now. Okay, so I'm going to move up towards the eye. Before I get there, I'm going to draw a couple of lines on the snout or the bridge of the nose here to guide where those eyes are going to end up. These are going to be two relatively short arcing lines. They're going to arc in towards the nose. We're not going to connect them. Just like this. Okay, let's get these eyes in, all right? Now these are a pretty simple shape. It's going to be just outside this bridge line and a little bit up. It's going to look a lot like a P, a capital letter P, except it's going to have a bent flat edge before it hooks into the P. Watch me and then try your own. I'm going to come right up to the top of this, up a little bit, out a little bit. I'm just going to draw this sort of bent P. And of course I want to do the same thing on the other side in approximately the same place. Bent P. This one will be backwards. I'm going to make a few guidelines around the eyes now before we move into some more of the fur guidelines and the horns. And that first series of lines is going to be above the eyes, all right? They kind of look like sevens on their sides. They're a little weird. Watch me and then do yours at home. It's going to be outside the end of the eye. I'm going to come down and just hook in like that. Not too much. See how that's a kind of a 7? But not quite. And we want to do the same thing on the other side, just outside the eye, coming down and in on top of the eye. Just like that. Just make it a little longer. No big deal. Doesn't have to be perfect. You know what we say. When it isn't perfect, it adds character. Two more guidelines for the eye. It's going to be on the outside of the eye. It's going to be underneath the eye. It's not going to be connected anywhere. It's going to be similar to this arcing line, just a little shorter and just underneath the eye. Just like that. And of course, do it on the other side as well. Okay. The next line I'd like you to make is just above those eye lines we made. And they're going to be little short lightning bolts. Here and here. And they look just like this. Short lightning bolts. Just like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, the next series of lines is a little tricky, but I believe in you. And I want you to believe in yourself too. As we're going to draw these horns. And in order to do that, we're going to make two pretty large sweeping lines out like this. Be careful not to get too close to the edge of the page. Your horns don't have to be gigantic. You know, just relatively controlled size here. We don't want to go overboard. Now these horn lines are going to look like this. I'm going to start from this lightning bolt that I made. I'm going to come out. I'm going to bend up pretty quick. I'm going to end up coming in, aiming back towards the middle of the page a little bit. Just like this. And to connect the bottom of the horn, I'm going to imagine that the top of the eye continues. All right, that's where I'm going to start my line. This line is going to come out, but it's going to turn in real quick and connect to the top. So it's going to come out and then turn real quick and head towards that point on the horn. Okay, so again, I'm imagining the top of the eye coming out. I'm going to start it outside of this lightning bolt line, and I'm going to just come out and then turn straight up. And of course, I want to do the same thing on the other side, starting at the top of this lightning bolt line and coming out and coming up and pointing in towards the middle of the page a little bit. And I want to draw the bottom of this horn the same way I draw that. The other horn, I'm going to align it with the top of the eye, come out past this little lightning bolt thing I made here. Come out, turn up real quick, get to the point. Get to the point. Kind of looks like a bowl right now, but once we get all this fluffy fur in here, trust me, it'll have buffalo written all over it. American buffalo. Okay. So hopefully everybody's right about here along with me right now. I'm going to make some lines on the outside of the buffalo's face here, just to start to give me a little bit of idea of what the shape is going to be overall. These are just guidelines. We're not going to draw the big outline of the whole face all in one stroke. We're going to do very, very deliberate strokes here. First one of those being, I'm going to come straight down from the horn, not connected here, down, I don't know, maybe to about the bottom or the middle of the eye. And I'm going to do these very familiar lightning bolt or zigzagging lines and start heading towards the middle. I'm going to stop probably about where the mouth is. And these go just like this. Maybe one more. Boop. And of course, I want to do the same thing on the other side, coming down from where I finished the bottom of the horn, starting at about, bottom to the middle of the eye. And I'm going to do this lightning bolt or zigzagging line, coming down, aiming towards the mouth, stopping about where the mouth begins, where the nose ends. There we go. That ought to do it. And we're almost there. I want to do a little bit of guidelines for the beard, and we're going to do a little bit of guidelines up here for the hair, the top of the buffalo's head. I'd like to start with the beard, though. I'm going to imagine this line continues, that these lines are kind of continuing down, and right at the bottom of the chin on either side, I'm going to make an arc line coming in towards the middle of the face, and those look just like this. Okay. And from there, I'm going to do some of these lightning sort of lines coming in towards the middle to finish off the beard. But before I do that, I want to add another arc line just like these, except in the other direction, but coming towards the middle. Watch me and then do yourself. And now I'm going to do, let's say maybe 2 more little bumps to connect it in the middle. Maybe it doesn't even need to connect. We're going to be putting a lot of color in here, so don't worry too much. All right. So the last series of lines we are going to make is going to be up here around the head. All right. We got to use a little bit of our imagination here because the hair, the top of the head is almost going to align with the top of the horns, but we want it to sweep down so that it looks like it's connected with the face, not the horns. Now this isn't a challenging line at all, but it is important to get it right where you want it. I'm going to start here pretty much at the top of the horns, and I'm going to come in and just sweep in a little bit of a lightning bolt line here. Don't worry about connecting it to the horns. Again, this is just a guideline. I want it to look like if I used my imagination, it was going to connect to the outside of the face. And that looks just like this. And of course, I want to do the same thing on the other side. Again, imagining that it's going to connect with the face. Just like that. Don't worry, we're going to be putting a lot of color in here to fill in a lot of this space here. Okay, we got 2 more lines to make before we start putting in color. And those are going to be sort of the bangs here. Maybe he's got a quarantine haircut. Funny bangs. And they're going to kind of aim towards the middle. But we're not going to add too many lines here. I'm thinking that this is probably going to look like, I don't even know how to describe this line. It is kind of a lightning bolt line. It's a little bit inside out. Watch me and then do your own. And again, these are just guidelines, so you can always have the opportunity to, add the color over them, outside them, inside them to balance the drawing later on. I always try to leave myself plenty of opportunities to add color, to correct anything that I wasn't quite thrilled about at the early stages. And that'll do it. I'm going to cap, wait. Before I cap this, we're going to draw little circles inside the eye, but we're going to make sure we leave white space in the middle of those circles. Check it out. Little circles with a white dot in the middle. Now we can cap our black marker. Okie dokie. I'll give you just a second to catch up. Make sure you got all your lines in, and then we'll talk about color. Okie dokie. Are we ready to talk about color? I hope we are, because I am. Okay, so I decided today to do, I guess like a reddish buffalo. And my plan for that was to get 5 shades. Now, they're not all red by any means, of course, because I like to choose colors that will complement the red. In this case, yellow is going to be my lightest color. But we probably won't need yellow until we get near the end. That'll be the last color we add. So I'm just going to take this yellow and put it aside for a second while I describe to you the 4 colors that I've chosen and why I've chosen them. Basically, my idea is to choose a lot of reds from dark to light. So 4 shades of red would be ideal here. But in the interest of making my drawing more colorful, I substituted one of the reds for a light brown, and like a pink or something, or whatever my lightest red would have been, for orange. And that's just to really keep the bright colors, and keeping them in mind for this drawing. I don't want to get too bogged down by having too many reds and too many similar hues. I want to add a lot of color today. Maybe you're in the mood to do a monochromatic or a singular color buffalo and you want to use all greens. I say go for it. Green buffalo is cool with me. So I've chosen these shades to start with. I'll give you, 15 seconds to pick your shades. Maybe you got 4, and maybe you change your mind after this 15 seconds. That's totally fine too. We're all here to create, have fun, add color, and be creative. So I encourage you to do so. I'm going to start with my darkest red here. Give her a quick sharpening. And I just put pencil shavings in my coffee. That's all right. Still tastes good. So I've got my darkest red here. I'm going to begin using my imagination, thinking about where some of these darker areas will be. Oops, sorry. Alrighty. Let's see here. I think there's going to be a lot of dark fur on the outer edge here. Again, I use these as guidelines, not outlines. So when I start adding fur and texture and things like that, I scribble right over that stuff. I'm not trying to limit myself in any way. I'm trying to have fun. So I'll color right over my outlines. Just like that, you know? Having fun, staying loose, not worried too much about it. I'm going to put a little bit of this sort of extra scruff out here, just to make sure that I fill in my drawing and use, more of the paper. Make sure my composition fills the page. Mine's a little off center, but I'm not worried about it. And neither should you. Maybe he's got some dark hair up here. There we go. Maybe he's got a little bit of a part or some scruffy hair up top there. I'll bring some of this dark into these bangs or whatever we're going to call these little hairs here. Put a little bit right where the horn meets. I think there's probably going to be a little bit of a shade, or a shadow rather, right there. Put that in now. Oh, let's see. There's definitely going to be some of this darker beard hair. Let's put that in. You know what? I think it's probably going to be a little bit more dark in here too. Let's put that in now. And maybe there's just a little bit of scruffy hair sticking out the side. What else? I think that looks pretty good for now. I'm just going to put a little bit of a shadow at the bottom of the horn. All right. I think that's plenty of this first dark color. I'm going to sharpen it up before I put it away in case I need it again. And I'll be coming back with my second color, which for me is sort of a medium to light brown. But again, it's my second color as we work from dark to light. I see a comment from Heidi, and I would just like to say thank you. I think that's a very nice thing to say. And honestly, I'm really just saying what goes on in my head when I create art anyway. So thank you. I appreciate that. But these are just ways that I'm thinking anyway. So I'm kind of giving you a window into my thought process, and hopefully it helps your drawings excel as well. So here I am with my second color as we work from dark to light. And just like I always do, I'm going to use this color to chase around my darkest color that I've added. And the way I do that is I'm just kind of I'll put some scribbles around where I've already done some. It might be worth noting at this point in the drawing that I'm going to leave a lot of the middle of the face light. I'm going to leave the horns white for now. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I kind of want to shade in the nose and the sides of the face in a little bit different of a style than just this furry stuff. But for now, let's keep in going with this technique while we get all the fur in around. And again, I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap in here to add my next color so that I don't run out of room for color, because that's why I am here. I love to add color. All right, a little bit of hair coming out here. I'm really going to start filling in the hair up here. Again, just by chasing around the darker colors I've already put in there. Maybe he's got this little weird part starry type thing right on his forehead. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. You don't have to. Put a little bit more shadowing in here. And this is more shadow than fur. I'm just using this to tint that. So when I come back with the color I want there, there's already a little bit of dark built in. I'm also going to use this to get inside the nostril a little bit. Just color that in. Use this color to make a few lines on the horn there. And we're going to come back to the horn with a different technique and do some more work there. So don't worry about that too much for now. I think there's probably some dark hairs right in here. And add a little bit more down here. All right. All right. That looks pretty good. Pack in a little bit more under the chin for a shadow. Alrighty, I'm going to sharpen this up. I'm going to move on to my next color. As we move from dark to light, my next color is orange. Alright, I have my orange ready to go. Just to remind you, this is my third color. As we went from dark to light, I started with dark red, I went into this brown, and now I'm moving into orange. And I'm going to do what I always do, use this next color to kind of chase around my second color, which was this brown. Oops, I broke my pencil. Excuse me while I sharpen. All right. Again, just using this to chase around that second color, okay? Everywhere my imagination tells me. Right down the side of the face. Staying away from the middle of the face. Like I said, I'm going to leave that light colored for now. How about under here? Some nice dark, deep orange. All down here. Fill all that in. Scribbly lines. Mimic this fur a little bit on the outside just to make sure that color carries through. And maybe just a bit up here. All right. Do a little bit out here too. Okay. Let's do a little bit under here. Okay. So I'm going to keep this out. Again, this is my third color. And I'm going to use this to shade in a pretty good amount of the face. Again, I kind of want to leave the middle lighter. So to start, actually, let me just sharpen this up real quick, because I kind of want to use the side of my pencil. Okay? I'm going to leave the nose and the chin white. I'm going to leave the inside of the eyes white. But I can still kind of just spread this across. Just like this. There we go. Oops, I colored in the eye a little bit. Try not to do that. It's okay if you do. Shading all the way up, almost all the way to the middle, but not quite. Shading in from the side towards the middle. Coming in really, really light there. All right. So we're going to layer this orange a little bit. Let's layer a little bit more around the eyes, above the eyes. And we're just layering the same color below the eyes as well. Layering it. You might also need to apply a little bit of more pressure to see the value build between the two techniques of applying the same orange. All right, I'm going to add another layer of orange right up this shadow that I made. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, of course. All right. I should be able to start seeing some of the structure show through of what this buffalo's face probably looks like. All right, I'm just going to fill in a little bit more up here. Okay, now I know this might seem a little counterintuitive, but red happened to be almost the lightest color out of all this stuff. So I'm going to use this to, again, fill in between the orange and that next color. Some of this is going to start to sneak in on the face. Some of it's going to be under here. It's going to be under here. I'm working fast today. I really like this buffalo, so I'm very excited. Scribble red right over this line I made earlier. And you can see like there's a lot of different colors that are coming through. And I have a little trick to make it look even better. All right, put a little bit of this right there, right where the horn meets the face. All right. So that's where the red goes. Cool. All right. So listen, the next step, we've used our 4 colors now. And I'm going to get this gold color out here. And so I guess technically this is my 5th color, but it's definitely my lightest color. So get a light color out that you think might complement your buffalo. For me, I used a lot of reds and oranges, so I think that this yellow is really going to bring those colors alive. Maybe if you're making a purple buffalo, maybe you're going to use, oh boy, you could even use this gold. You could use a pink, whatever light color that you think fits in with all the colors you've already used. We're going to use this color to fill in all the scribble lines left behind. We want to color in all the white paper that we left in here. All right? And you just kind of float the pencil right over the work you've already done. I'm doing all the fur. I'm not coloring the face here. I just want to fill in the scribble lines that I left behind when I was adding all this cool color to the fur. This just helps the colors of the fur come to life. It helps add some visual details because we're not leaving any white paper behind. So it helps to make the colors feel saturated. And also, it has like a refining quality to it. And but what I mean by that is it makes the colors look complete. It makes all of our decisions look a little more deliberate. I still have this gold out, and what I want to do with this is I'm going to start shading the nose, but before I do the inside of the nose, I'm going to do the outside of the nose. And I'm just going to do a kind of a thick outline around it with this gold or this yellow color. And then I'm going to start to shade upwards on the inside. Not too dark, but letting it kind of fade to light. Okay? I want to do the same thing in between the nostrils. Start dark, and as I come up, fade to light. I'll do a little bit of that under the chin as well. Start dark, fade to light. Still got my gold out, and I want to do that similar technique around the eyes. I'm going to start around the eyes, doing a little bit of an outline, and letting that color fade to light as I move away from the eye. Over here, fading to light. And down here, coloring in around the eye, and then fading to light. See a little bit more scribble gaps that I want to fill in. Right here where the fur meets the smoother part of the face. See some more scribble gaps up. Oh, I didn't even do any of the scribble gaps up in the top hair. Let's get that all filled in with gold too. I'm just going to sharpen up. Okay. Just wanted to double check my fun fact for the day about buffalo, or American buffalo, or as they are more accurately referred to as bison. Did you know, I mean, I know y'all know that a buffalo has a big giant hump, right? Have you ever wondered why a buffalo has a big giant hump? Because I did. And you'll never guess what I discovered. The reason, or actually before I tell you the reason, the hump, unlike a camel, which is basically a fat or a food or a little bit of a hydro or water deposit for long journeys, the buffalo's hump is completely made of muscle. And do you know why? It actually uses that hump to push its head through snow. You might say bison is America's first snowplow. Thought that was pretty cool. Okay, so I still got gold, and I want to add a little bit of color to the horns, okay? And by the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to fade towards the middle till it disappears. And I want to do that on the top and the bottom. Just let it fade to white. And on the bottom. There we go. See how it kind of looks like a little bit of light catching there. Super cool. Okie dokie. All right, so I'm going to put my gold down now that I've got all these scribble gaps, all this fur filled in. Pretty satisfied with the way this thing is looking right now. Even though I'm making a little bit of a mess, it's okay. I'm having fun. I'm going to color in the eye, and I've decided to have my buffalo's eyes green today. And I just need the one color, and I'm just going to color around the eye and leave that white dot behind. There's very, very little bit of green in there, but that's okay. I can see it. Might be hard to see on camera, but trust me, it's there. Okay, so I think we've come a long way. We have a lot going on here. My instincts are telling me it's missing a little bit of contrast. In the fur, I'd like to see some more dark fur. So I'm going to go actually grab dark blue. Dark blue is the opposite of orange. So because I've got this orange buffalo going on, I think blue is probably a good decision so that I can add some more detail into the fur, which will pop forward. I'm going to use this similarly to how I might use the black at the end of the drawing, but just sparingly and a little more deliberate. I think the first place I'd like to see some more detail is where the fur connects to some of the shorter fur in the face. I'd like to see some more. Oh man, let me sharpen this up. Colored pencils are fun, even when they break. All right, I'm back. Add some more in there. Maybe there's some blue there. I'd like to see some blue out here. Add some blue out here. Definitely want some blue under here in the beard. Definitely want some up here in the hair. This guy's got a funny little hairdo. He's cool though. He likes it. He likes his haircut. Some more up here. I'm just kind of adding this to make sure the shape and the motion of my hair matches the way I imagine it growing on this dude's head. Let's put some up here near the horn. Cool. While I still have this blue out, I'd like to use this blue to add some little details to the horns. And I'm just going to do this with a series of lines. I'm going to do a few lines down here, maybe a couple lines where it bends, and there's going to be curved lines, and maybe a couple lines up top towards the top of the horn. And I'll do the same thing on both sides. It looks something like this. Of course, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. A few lines down here, a few curved lines right here, and a couple at the top. I still have my blue out. I'm going to add some arcing lines under the eyes. Imagine the direction of the fur a little bit. Just a few lines. You know, I'm not going crazy here. I'm not trying to make him completely blue. I'm just using this color to help my other colors out a little bit. I'm going to put some of this underneath the chin because I have a feeling that he's got a pretty dark beard. Put some of this on the outside here. Maybe he's got a few stray hairs right there. I think I'm actually going to use this to punch in a little bit of more darkness, a little more contrast underneath the mouth there. There's a little bit of scribbles in there. Alrighty. Starting to feel like I'm getting towards the end here. I don't want to overwork my drawing. I know I always say that. We don't want to overwork any particular color. I am still feeling like I'm getting a little bit too light here. So I am going to grab my first color that I use, is that dark red I had at the top. I'm just going to add a few more supporting lines to my horns. Just a few. I'm going to add some more up here, maybe right in the middle there, some dark. And some more out here. This is just adding a little bit more color, give me a little bit more contrast, a little more dark against my light. I am going to shade in a little bit more of the nose here. Very lightly. I don't want to overdo it. And I am going to use this to make a little bit of a move down the middle. Maybe it's a shadow, maybe it's a little bit of darker fur, I don't know. We'll let my imagination figure that out later. I'm going to shade in a little bit out here, and a little bit out here above the horn, or next to the horn, I guess. And I just still want a little bit more shadow underneath the eye, so I'm going to punch this in a little bit, with a little bit more pressure. Just a little bit more contrast there I wanted. There we go. There we go. That's all I wanted. And maybe just a little bit more shading right down here. There we go. All right. This guy's looking pretty sweet. So my last step, of course, is to add some of these black suggestive outlines that I like to add. Now, y'all might be well aware of the black pencil situation I'm having over here. Unfortunately, I don't have a black colored pencil anymore. It is toast. So the darkest color I have left is this dark purple, which is what I'm going to use. Feel free to do what I do. If you want to use purple just for the heck of it, totes cool. If you want to get your black pencil out now and do these final suggestive outlines along with me using your black pencil, totes cool also. So I'm going to make a couple of, I don't really say that in real life, I'm just being a goofball. So I'm going to make a few up here, probably a few coming down around here. I might make a few on the outside of the eye here, and I'm going to make a few on the horn. I'm going to start up here. I'm going to come out here. Yep. Yep. I like it. I like it. Like it a lot. All right. I'll make some in here. Maybe there's some on his forehead. Just get still using the technique of following the general shape or the growth of what direction I think the hair might be growing in. Add some more out here. And you can add this wherever you think it's going to help. What I'm doing is certainly not a hard, fast rule by any means. I'm just reacting to what my imagination or my artistic instinct seems to be recommending. Okay, cool. Hey man, I think this thing looks great. And in an effort not to overwork this guy, I think I'm going to get ready to sign him. Maybe add a little bit of a shadow on the bottom. And maybe there's just a little bit of a shadow right there. A little bit. Don't tell anybody it's a secret shadow. Oh my gosh. All right. All right, so I'm going to get ready to sign this guy because he's done and it's almost 11 o'clock. All right, everybody. Oh, I forgot to put some purple in the horns. I knew I said I would do that. All right, everybody. This is a cool American buffalo or bison. It is a huge, majestic beast that roams the plains of North America. And I hope yours is cool. I like mine a lot. All right, let's see. What color am I going to sign it? I'm going to go for this turquoise today. C-H-R-I-S. Booyah. Okay, guys. Thank you again for drawing with me today. I had a lot of fun. Sign your work. Please upload it to the page. Please, please, please. I really like seeing everybody's drawings. And lastly, be good to your parents and they'll be good to you. And have a wonderful Monday. See you Wednesday. Be good. Bye.